Welcome back to Morning Coffee. We are moving right along on this fine Thursday morning. I think I've said that 10 times, right? We're just moving right along. Well, that's what we do here, right? It is time to look up to the skies and see some stars with our resident astrologer. Her name is Christina Celona. Good morning, Christina, and welcome back to Morning Coffee.
Good morning, good morning.
All right, so there's some stuff going on in the sky that's creating some things down here as usual. So the energy in general over the last week or so has been nuts. It's been all over the place. We've had some real high positive, we've had some real low negative, we've had all sorts of stuff in the middle, and it's all leading up to the lunar eclipse that is happening tomorrow night.
Tomorrow we have a lunar eclipse.
So let's talk about it.
Wow, I don't even know where to begin. There's so much, really, like just energy just buzzing around everywhere. I just posted my blog yesterday, as you know. And,
so you need to go to spellboundastrology.com.
Spellboundastrology.com.
Yeah, check it out.
My blog, Tales of Lunacy. So where to begin? Well, it's tomorrow's lunar eclipse is in Pisces, and it's just like really sensitive, heightened sensitivity is what I want to say. Whether it's on an emotional level or even on a psychic level for some people. And I've been hearing things from people, a lot of people actually, some of these odd experiences that are happening, and people are like trying to make sense of it, like what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because what happens is that there's a lot, we talk about this uncertainty, and I've been feeling a little bit of that, like, heightened sensitivity in terms of things that wouldn't normally bother you are now, like, the world is falling around you, right? Like,
there's a lot of buttons being pushed.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah. What is that? Like, why does that occur? Because there are definite times where, like, you feel like people are cool and, like, things are happening and everybody's just kind of, like, going along with the flow. And then there are other times, like recently, and I just kind of attributed it to the change of season, right? Like school starting, people's brains are all crazy that's what it is, but there's just so much more to it.
There's been a lot coming up for people in the last several months, and we've talked about it in some detail in the last few weeks and months and everything. There's just like all this stuff from the past, and it's like it's like a purging. Everything's like blah blah
right,
blah, know. And the image that keeps coming to my mind is like a lemon in a juicer.
Okay.
Like you're being squeezed every little last bit
Oh
of.
man, why couldn't it be an orange? Why did it have to be a lemon?
Okay, make lemonade. I don't know.
Oh
That's
man.
what they're telling me. Life gives you lemons. Make lemonade.
All right, there you go.
I don't know. I just thought of that now.
No, that works. That works.
But it was just like an image that kept coming to mind. Really, it was just like in the old juicer, the kind that you're really pressing it out.
Yeah. But like that gets old after a while, right?
It is
when
old.
You constantly feel like you're being wrung and just like you eventually, what happens? I imagine that you eventually emotionally slingshot the other way, right?
Well, I think it appears to me that this may be like our one little final squeeze and push.
Okay.
So I think once we get on the other side of this, we should start to lighten up a bit.
Okay.
But it has been like a really heavy kind of ick.
Yeah. So the
on some levels, and then other levels are like, when I say heightened sensitivity, it's also like heightened creativity too.
Yeah, it could go the other way. Yeah.
So
it's just interesting though to me that the lunar eclipse really, you're talking about that event has to happen, right? And when it does happen,
it is happening. Yeah.
Well, but that has to happen for kind of things to move forward and change, right? So this is a really significant lunar eclipse, right?
It is. Well, I mean, in astrology, they always are.
Oh, they all are.
Yeah,
I know they all
are.
But but this one in particular, he's got a little bit more going on than just I would think
There's a lot going on at this time, Like I said, there's just energy kind of spilling all over the place, a lot of things coming up from the past. And like not so nice or pleasant memories, it's like a lot of this like old, you know, maybe go over a conversation in your head that was from, you know, a decade ago. And it's like, why am I thinking about that? You know, and it's like, you know.
It's so weird. That did happen to me recently.
Yeah, you know, it just like pops into your mind randomly,
weird.
You know.
I hate this. You know, you always come in and we talk about stuff and it's like stuff that's actually happened to me.
It is actually
it's
happening,
so weird.
You know.
I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable.
When somebody says that's so weird, and I'm like, yeah, that's just natural.
It's not weird, right? It's actually the opposite of weird. It's what's being determined by the cosmos, and I know that it sounds existential and bigger than you. Well, that's because it is.
It is, and that's the thing. You know, it's like it sounds weird because we're taught to think differently.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And that's kind of what's ending as well. You know what I mean? That we have to integrate some of these. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So now coming out of this, we could actually change our mindsets a little bit.
Yeah, we're kind of challenged to do that.
Who is there a specific one challenging us?
Well, I just want to say life or the universe or whatever. You know,
okay.
Life is conspiring to
right.
Make us take these more existential things or these more otherworldly things and make practical use out of them. But right now, people are trying to just make sense of it and trying to just get through it.
Right.
You know, and it's like there's a lot going on, and a lot of people are aware of it. You know, that something's going on. They just don't know what.
Right.
You know, they're just like, oh, what do I feel? And there's a lot of physical manifestations or, I want to say, effects or symptoms to it that people are experiencing.
Oh, go into that a little bit. Physical.
Yeah, like physical symptoms in a way of, oh gosh, I know a lot of people, nausea. A lot of people like just nauseous for no reason. Dizziness. Dizziness is a big one. And I experienced something, you know, last month where I was so dizzy, and it was quite frightening, actually, you know, and I thought it was something with me personally, and, well, I mean, it was, but then I come out, you know, it's like a much bigger thing, and I happened to bring it up at one of my workshops with all these other women, and they were all like, yeah, like, we had that, and I thought my blood sugar dropped, or, you know, it was just like one girl was like, I thought I was feeling the earthquake that happened.
Wow, so you all had something. Was there a specific reason for it?
Well, like there's just shifting of energies going on, you know.
Well, about a month ago, I remember you were saying a month ago, it was a really tumultuous time. It was tough. Like we're talking about it now that we're able to come out of it, right? Like we see
hindsight is always 20/20,
right? We
right?
see a significant event though. No. I'm talking about moving forward. We see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas about a month ago, that light was really dim. Yeah, that you were talking about how things were changing, and like that could be the final straw in some situations. It could be, you know, taking relationships and changing the way those dynamics were.
Well, relationships at this eclipse are kind of under the gun too. I will say that much. You know, Venus, the planet of beauty and love, is kind of taking some direct hits.
Wow.
You know?
I want to get more into that. We got to take a break. Let's get into that. We'll get into the relationship aspect of all of this stuff after this quick break. So stick around. We'll be right back here on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
That's it. Morning coffee right here, right now on the Radio Vision Network. That's what's happening. I am Mark Cook, and I am talking to Christina Celona. She is our resident astrologer, and we were talking about this lunar eclipse that's coming up tomorrow, Christina. And we were talking about its effect on relationships, right? Because, look, everybody's got all sorts of relationships going on. They've got significant others, they've got family members, they've got friends. Look, our entire lives are based around relationships, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we, right before the break, we were talking about Venus. Venus is kind of the one she's the one. It's always her, right? It's always her. So she's the one that's kind of
she's in charge of
this
relationships.
pot. So tell us what's up with her.
She's in charge of relationships and money, and what we value and the things that are important to us and everything.
Like most women, she's in charge of the relationship and the money.
That's right. Got us on the mountaintop.
That's right. I was gonna sing the song for
I know.
you. I was going to. I couldn't think of the the first word of the chorus, so I spared you all. You're welcome. But what is she doing, honestly?
Well, yeah, she's taking some direct hits from Uranus, the great awakener there.
Uranus. It's Uranus. It's not Uranus.
Not.
Right? Listen, you can't change the name of the planets, right? It's Uranus.
Uranus.
We've gone over this before.
She's taking some hits from Uranus as well as Chiron, the wounded healer. So basically, we see some shakeups in relationships, or some awakening moments, if things have been just plodding along, but you're just like kind of going through the motions, not going to happen anymore,
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. I could go on and on, really.
Well, go on and on. This is a talk show. So.
I know, right? Well, I'll be limited in what I can say and how long I have.
Go for it. Let loose.
So relationships are definitely kind of under the gun. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, although it could start out that way or feel that way at first. But really, it's just to bring us into alignment with our own truth and what is right for us and all of that kind of stuff. Like I said, there's a lot coming up from the past. This is a lunar eclipse, which are usually tied to the past, and then it's what we call a south node lunar eclipse. So lots of karmic stuff coming up from the past as well.
Interesting.
Yes. So anyway,
when you say that real quick, I want to expound on that a little bit. Karmic what?
Just
you called it you had a term for it. It was karmic something.
Like energies.
Okay, but it was coming from the past. So is that that's energy that was put out before that is kind of finally coming to some sort of fruition?
Yeah, it's kind of coming up to be reconciled at this point. And that's why I said sometimes there could be like these little images that pops into your mind of something from a long time ago, or a conversation, and then are analyzing it to death. Well, what was meant by that? And maybe I didn't get it right. And there's like we're trying to make sense of all these things, that are coming up, and why is it coming up?
But like we're trying to make sense of all these things, and is it even possible for us to make sense of it?
No, because
Right.
I wrote in my blog, it's like it doesn't fit in our little box.
Oh, so then we don't want it. If it
doesn't
fit in our box, then we don't want it.
Well, we need to expand our box.
But we need it.
We need to expand our box and move beyond it.
Well, and that's the important message there, is that even though we wouldn't necessarily think that what the energies are telling us would be, kind of impactful for us, is that we need to open ourselves up to it a little bit more. Change the box. Make the box bigger. Change it. Do something to open the reception, right, so that you can receive the changing energy.
Oh, I like that.
rather than.
I feel like I've taught you so well.
Hey, listen, I pay attention. I pay attention to what you tell me, because a lot of this stuff to me was so foreign, and I didn't have really any understanding of it. But the more I heard you talk about it, and the more you presented it in a way that was easy for me to understand, it made me think that, everybody talks about this bigger force in the universe, and they normally talk about it in a religious way.
Right.
And it's not that. It's not that. Yes, you can have religion in your life, and it can guide you, and it can do wonders for your soul and your mind and all of that stuff. But this is different than that. This is not taking a religious aspect, but yet there is still some faith and belief behind it.
Well,
so
right now our faith is really being tested in a lot of ways, and I've been writing about that kind of all year, but right now it's really kind of like
in your face. Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yeah. Did it again. We can't be quiet. We have a show to do.
I know, right? Yeah.
The show must go on.
That's right.
So, yeah, it really is. It's in our face right now. And we're kind of like straddling this divide here of, being really creative and having a plan, and having this grand vision. But now we have to work out all the details for this vision, you know what I mean? And to make it work in real life, not just in our imaginations. And then, again, our faith is tested in the way of, like, are we doing the right thing? I don't know. We want it to be perfect. We want to get it right. We want to make the right decisions. And everything's really unclear right now.
Yeah, but it's hard because, like, the universe is, like, I think people are, might be a little bit confused, because I am, because the universe is dictating a lot of these things, but yet...
It doesn't dictate.
All right. Well, it doesn't dictate,
Different
but
vernacular
it's influencing a lot of things. Dictation, influence. I mean, come on now. It's not similar at all. But anyway, so a lot of that is going on. But then there's a lot of responsibility on ourselves, right? So like we can't just let the universe take care of itself and take care of whatever it's going to take care of, because it's telling us specific things to do for us to really be able to come out of this and be on the positive side rather than on this uncertainty train that we've been on.
Right, and what we're really faced with is like tons of uncertainty and a need for flexibility,
Okay.
It's like when you have a certain outcome in mind, it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, forget it. Don't try to predetermine is what you're talking about. As much work that you have to do, you can't necessarily say, all right, well, that's where I'm going to end up, right? Even though I know I'm working really hard, it's a little bit counterintuitive, because people aren't used to working that way. They work towards a goal, they achieve or fail, right? But they know what that end goal is.
Right.
This is a situation where you have to work, and you just have to allow yourself to stay open to whatever is going to happen, and that is a really hard thing for people to wrap their heads around.
It's really difficult, and I wrote that. It's like it's a difficult energy to navigate right now.
Right.
Because like I said, we have a predetermined way that we think that things are going to work out, or how we want them to be, and we have this grand vision, and we're like, how do we reconcile this? How do we make it work in real life? How do we put all the pieces in place?
Right.
To present this and to make it work in real life.
Yeah.
Yet our faith is tested. Like, that's the only thing we're going on right now.
Right.
You know?
Our faith,
And
which
then
is being
you
so
think,
super tested.
Yeah,
right.
and you're like, oh my God, am I right? What if I'm not? You know? And then, like, I wrote, like, the fear sets in. And then we get in these fear-based autopilot program kind of a thing, you know? So my only suggestion that I had, really, you know, was that Mars is in Sag right now. So it's like our actions kind of have to be based on what is true for us.
Okay.
You know, like what feels right. Like you kind of can't go against your grain right now because then we're in the fear-based
Interesting.
reality.
So my favorite planet is in my sign right now.
It is.
Yeah. So
what
does that mean for me?
Well, you know, there's a push for, like I said, a truth. There's a push for
I'm
expansion.
always pushing for truth. Truth, justice, and the American way. That's what we're fighting for. Oh, never mind. Sorry. So, Christina, you know, you've talked about the blog a whole bunch of times, and I feel like people are out there. They're like, wait a second.
What is it?
I need to read this. So please tell everybody out there how you can read the blog.
You can go on my website, spellboundastrology.com, and click on the Tales of Lunacy tab to read it. You can subscribe for free. You'll get it emailed to you, you know, twice a month or whenever when I sell it. So.
Yeah.
Or when I write it.
When she writes it, and she doesn't send you any other like annoying, stupid emails in between, right? Like that's one of the biggest.
Usually.
That's one of the biggest things when you sign up for one of those lists that you feel like, oh, I'm just gonna get a million emails.
Right.
You're not like that. You send the blog out each
I'm probably like
each Wednesday.
2 to 3 a month.
Wednesday or Thursday, right? Normally.
I don't even have a specific day.
It's not on a set schedule, right? It's whenever it feels right. And
I usually write for the new moon and for the full moon.
And they're a good read. Honestly, it took me a while to get into reading them, but I've read the last couple, and it's a good read. You also can find Christina on Facebook if you just search out Spellbound Astrology.
Spellbound Astrology.
Your Facebook page is cool because that's where everybody gets to interact and they get to talk to you and ask you questions and all of that.
You can private message me on Facebook if you like.
Yeah, so get in touch with her because look. There's got to be questions that you probably don't even know how to frame or ask or why they're happening and all this stuff, and she might be able to shed a little bit of light on it and you know, you make a new friend in the process, right?
Sure. Who can't use more friends, right? Since we have Jupiter in Libra, that's a big deal too. That just happened September 9th.
Of course. Of course Jupiter's in Libra.
For the first time in 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
so this is an important cycle for relationships.
Wow.
And I wrote about that in my 2 posts ago or however.
But I can see the archives on the website, right? I can go back and read all of them.
Yeah, I encourage you to do so.
There you go. She is Christina Celona. She is our, I keep saying resident astrologer. I'm not going to say that. I want to say that she is one of the area's top astrologers.
Oh, thank you.
And you can check her out on spellboundastrology.com. And we thank her for joining us on Morning Coffee this morning, as usual.
Thank you for having me. Always a blast.
You are such a good liar. I'm going to take a quick break on Morning Coffee, but stick around. We got a really great segment coming up. We're going to read all about it. And one of the most interesting men and a fantastic author, Mr. Keith Earl Benson, is going to be joining Benita Lee to talk about his book. So make sure you're sticking around for that. So we're going to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee, and we'll be right back here on the Radio Vision Network. Stick around.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we